Hi everyone, if you've ever looked at your calendar side and wondered if you could get a PhD and too much to do, then maybe this talk is the one for you. I don't have to tell you, leadership isn't just busy, it's cluttered. It's meetings, expectations, deadlines, guilt, and about 40 half-formed ideas that pop into your head right before you finally fall asleep. That's why one of my favourite coaching moves is what I like to call the great brain dump. It's not complicated, you just sit down with a blank piece of paper and empty your head. Everything goes on that page, the important, the urgent, the emotional, the half-baked, the personal, and even the slightly ridiculous. Because until it's out of your head, these things, these thoughts, well, they tend to run you. But once it's out in front of you, you can finally run it. Here's how it works. The great brain dump is actually 5 dumps. The first is leadership and strategic direction. Let's start with the big stuff, the vision, the goals, the expectations, the strategic stuff. So ask yourself these questions. What are the big strategic goals or initiatives this term that you feel responsible for moving forward? And what external expectations are sitting on your plate, from the board or the ministry or Aero or any community obligations? This gets the heavy thinking out first. It's meant to be the why of your job, the reason you get up and lead. But often it's the thing that worries you heaps because it gets buried in the everyday chaos of this thing that we call school life. Often as leaders, we feel guilty that life in our schools seems to intervene just when you're trying to be visionary. When you see it all on paper though, you can start grouping it into themes. Maybe 2 or 3 of those goals actually connect. Maybe one of them's quietly finished and you didn't even notice. This is where you rediscover your leadership purpose hiding underneath all that paperwork. The next brain dump is called operational and day-to-day stuff. This is the grind, the daily stuff that never makes the newsletter but takes up at least half of your week and often longer. So ask yourself these questions. What are the pressing operational tasks that keep tugging at you? Rosters, timetables, compliance, contracts, those things that keep you away from the visionary leadership stuff. And what about the fires that you're trying to put out that you know will come back if you don't fix the cause? No one likes to see their place literally or metaphorically burning down. Once it's out there on paper, look for the patterns. Which of these things are actually yours and which are just squatting on your list because no one else has claimed them? I once realised 3/4 of my urgent list belonged to other people. I just hadn't trusted them enough to let go. I fixed that, but it did take time. You can see these patterns. You can start turning chaos into systems, group similar tasks, batch them, delegate them, and suddenly everything becomes some things. And wow, that's progress, isn't it? Next up is people and relationship. Here's where the real work lies. People are, let's face it, often a pain in the neck. How often have you thought that your school or workplace is way better when there are no people around? Anyway, relationships are complicated, aren't they? They take time and plenty of energy. So ask this. Who on your team needs the most from you right now? And what exactly are they waiting for? And are there any staff performances or well-being concerns that just keep floating through your mind? And which community or parent issues could start eating your time if you ignore them any longer? People tasks often hide behind paperwork as well, and this is just straight out wrong. Put your people at the top of the list, and when you do list them, you'll see where your energy really needs to go. Once they're all written down, connect with these people. Who needs the feedback? Who needs the encouragement? Who just needs a proper good conversation instead of another email? This part of the dump turns into your relationship plan, the stuff that builds trust and momentum, not just compliance. And learn from me, I once delayed a tricky conversation for weeks, and when I finally had it, the person actually said to me, "I thought you didn't care." Whew. Lesson learned. Avoidance is never neutral, Okay, the next dump is all about you, personal and well-being. This is often the hardest one, you. For some reason, we don't like to put ourselves first in terms of leadership. We should. Well, okay, I better quantify that. You see, it doesn't mean putting yourself first at morning tea and eating all the donuts before everyone else arrives. Seriously though, you've got to ask yourself, what's on your personal well-being list that you keep postponing but you know that you need? And what's weighing on you emotionally? Those things that replay at night or during the weekends. This isn't soft stuff, this is sustainability and compassion. And when you see it all written down, you can start creating small concrete habits, going for a walk, making sure you do get to that doctor's appointment, playing the guitar, or having that coffee that isn't actually a meeting. And once you've listed your well-being needs, pair each one with a small action because you see, big intentions never seem to happen. Tiny ones do though. The final dump is future and innovation. By now you've cleared a space for all the good stuff, the creative, hopeful, energizing ideas that get buried under the urgent. This is the exciting stuff that gets you out of bed in the morning. So ask yourself this: is there something exciting or future focused that you'd love to do but just keeps slipping behind the daily noise? Write them down, even if they feel impossible, and then connect them back to the earlier dumps. Which strategic goal could this idea strengthen? Which relationship could help it grow? Which operational task could you drop to make space for it? That's how you turn a scattered page of scribbles into a strategy. Okay, so let's pull it all together. Once it's all there, the goals, the grind, the people, the self, and the future, you'll start to see patterns emerge. When you combine the strategic with the operational, you've got a realistic plan. And when you connect the people and the personal, well, you've got culture. And link any of it to the future, and you've actually found yourself some direction. It doesn't have to be tidy, just real. Because leadership isn't about doing it all, it's about seeing it clearly enough to do what matters most. And if all else fails, close the notebook, grab a coffee, and remind yourself that clarity, just like good leadership, always starts with a decent brain dump. Okay, now if you've enjoyed this video, then you'll undoubtedly enjoy reading my book, Am I Having Fun? It's stacked full of great leadership ideas to help free up your thinking time so that you can enjoy doing your job just a little bit more. Go and grab your copy now.